Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about the Olympic Games. Today we're going to talk about the ancient games that took place and were created in Greece. And then on Wednesday, we'll talk about the modern games and how it was kind of revived, and I'll explain that as we go through this. That's what we're going to be talking about today and on Wednesday, so let's jump right into it. All right, so we're going to look at the Greek contributions, the Olympic Games, ancient games, and the modern games. The ancient games. They began in 776 BC at Olympia, Greece. I'll show you where Olympia is at on a map here in just a second. It was originally a religious ceremony in honor of the Greek gods. 100 oxen were sacrificed at the beginning of the games. Olympic truce, all wars and battles were halted so that everyone could come and watch the games. So there was no war going on, there was no fighting going on, there was no political problems going on. Everybody kind of called a truce, and they came to an understanding that this was something where everybody wanted to come and be able to watch, and even some were able to participate. And it was based on 4-year periods called the Olympiads. That's where they get the name the Olympics from, and that's why the Olympics are every 4 years, because it's based on a 4-year period. Right here on the map, you can see right there is Olympia. You see where my finger's at? Right here is Olympia. That is where the Olympics were first started. This is a picture of the original running track in Olympia, Greece. This is where the first event took place in Olympia. The Olympic athlete, it said men were only allowed to play, women were not allowed to compete in the sports or the different activities that took place in the Olympics. Men had to play with very little clothing called gymnos. This was something that they did that they thought would make them more athletic and faster. Running was the only event at the first 13 games. So for the first 13 Olympic events, there was only running. There was no other Olympic events like what we see today. Today, if you turn on the Olympics, you'll see swimming and diving and basketball, and they've even got golf and stuff like that in there now. But back then, the only thing that they had was running, and then more events, like I just said, were added over the years. Some of the rules later on, after other events were adding, they had wrestling and boxing. In wrestling, the rules were no biting, no eye gouging, no breaking opponents, but breaking opponents' limbs were legal, so you could break somebody's arm or leg. In boxing, both men played until one gave up or died. So in boxing today, they have rounds, and if somebody gets knocked out, then the fight is over with. And then if it goes to 15 rounds, they have a judge that makes a decision on who won. But back then, they fought until one person gave up and quit or somebody died. In Greece, there was no second place. Only winners were honored. The losers were ignored. Winners were given a laurel wreath for their head. This is what that wreath looked like. They put it on their head, and they were the winner of that event for the Olympics. In today's modern games, we know that they have medals for first, second, and third place, so that was very different than what we have today. The end of the ancient games, it ended in 394 AD by the Roman Emperor Theodosius, who was a Christian, considered them pagan games, so he considered them not to be part of their religious beliefs and kind of considered them to be wrong because people were dying, people were getting hurt, people were quitting their jobs, people were not worshiping God during this time, so he believed that it was a bad thing. So he ended the Olympic Games in ancient Greece and ancient Rome during that time period. So that is kind of the ancient Olympic Games, the Olympic events, and some of the rules behind some of the things that they were able to do during this time period. What we're going to talk about on Wednesday is what the modern games look like and what we kind of know the Olympics to be. So we'll talk about that on Wednesday. If you guys have any questions, comment on here. You can send me a message on Google Classroom. You can email me, whatever you need. I'm more than happy to help out in any way that I can. Hope you all are doing good. If you need anything, let me know. Have a good day. Bye.